clouds around to give us beautiful sunrises and sunsets, so that was one good picture. Hopefully we'll see more like that in the days ahead. Let's talk about the tropics a little bit tonight. We spent a lot of time on the fact that there's just spotty showers, no cold fronts coming our way. So let's look at what's going on. Even though it's October, hurricane season runs till the end of November. But for us in the valley, it'd be really unusual to get something from this point on. We're pretty much done. Leslie out in the Atlantic, we've been talking about that. It's just been meandering around, and it's going to continue to do so. In fact, the models push it all the way to the coast of Africa over the course of the next 10 days. So it stays way out in the Atlantic Ocean. But of course, we're also watching this mess right here. This is a system that's been kind of slowly working its way across the Caribbean over the last few days. The Hurricane Center gives it now a 50% chance of developing the next 2 days and an 80% chance the next 5 days as it slowly drifts toward the north. So it drifts toward the north, that would eventually put it into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, all odds favor this staying in the middle or even eastern half of the Gulf of Mexico, maybe as far west as the edge of this red line, but still the potential is there for this to turn into at least a depression, maybe a tropical storm. So we may be tracking something in the Gulf by the time we get to the first part of next week or even over the weekend. Upper level wind flow, if you're with us at 6 o'clock tonight, Andrew was talking about how this big trough in the western part of the country really is what deflects all of the tropical systems away from us from about here on out. And that trough is digging in right now. So even if something tried to get in the western Gulf, it would get shunted off to the northeast. Wouldn't stand much of a chance of coming this direction. The upper level winds just don't allow for that. And even though something could happen, probably not this time, and it'd be highly unlikely as we get into a fall type weather pattern, that strong westerly wind in the upper atmosphere really takes over and stuff doesn't have much chance of getting to the western Gulf. That said, we'll continue to keep an eye on it for you. Here's a look at what's happening on the European model. You watch, high pressure aloft moves away, and we're looking at the upper levels of the atmosphere here, and this is that trough we're talking about. That's a significant dip in the upper level wind flow in the western part of the country. You see something like that, and you want to be glad that it's going to lift northeastward, not move southeastward, because if it came this way and got into this warm, humid air mass we have, we would have all kinds of rain. And right now we don't need all kinds of rain. A few showers is one thing, but a big time rain event we don't need. So this is going to lift to the northeast. As it does, it'll trigger a snowstorm up in the slopes of the eastern slopes of the Rockies, and another system comes in behind that. It'll trigger some strong thunderstorms in parts of West Texas, but by the middle of next week, it's off the map. Here comes that tropical system. Notice the European brings it into the middle of the Gulf, but then takes it northward, northeastward over the Florida Panhandle. Not an issue for us, we don't think. Through Friday of next week, 7 days from now, we don't see any type of front coming this way at all. 10-day models do hint at something, though. We'll keep an eye on that next week. And with that, a chance of rain comes back the end of next weekend, and about a 20 to 30% chance early next week. Temperatures, the normal goes from 89 now to 88 10 days from now, but we're going to stay above normal through most of the forecast period. We don't see, again, a cold front anytime soon. Quick check of the rest of the country. It is warm in the south and cool in the north. 47 in Burlington, Vermont. Syracuse is 51. Here's the real chilly air, but again, because of the southwesterly flow aloft, that can't push southward, so you end up just staying warm for the foreseeable future. So for tonight, 75 for a low, partly cloudy. Tomorrow back up to 94. An isolated shower can't be ruled out, but most areas are rain-free. Like today, a couple dots, a couple of blips on the radar. Probably not much more than that. Sunday, maybe a couple more blips. If there's 2 blips tomorrow, there might be 4 on Sunday. It's just not widespread, but there's a little bit out there. Same for Monday. Next week, we see the same kind of thing Tuesday and Wednesday, tapering off for the end of the week. That is your updated First Warn 5 forecast.